Hello, Spinal Hygiene doctors. Thank you so much for being on the training today. Today is going to be a pretty quick, easy training, because it's about training, okay? And let me just start by prefacing this and the importance of this. I'm always the kind of chiropractor, the kind of doctor that, you know, training, like team trainings, team meetings, and all those things, I've always kind of looked at them like, man, I could be doing something else. I could be building something else, thinking about something else, writing something else. But even though you don't want to do it, you need to do it, man. Trainings will help your office more than anything else. And that's training as a team or giving trainings to your team. There's no way that we can get our office up to the level we want without training with our team members. Hold on one sec. Let me make sure before we get going that everything is going okay. Everybody can hear me okay. If you're watching live, of course, there's a chat roll below the video, and you're welcome. Yeah, there we go. Good. You're welcome to post comments there, ask questions. You could also be looking from our Spinal Hygiene page, the Spinal Hygiene Members Doctors Club area. You're welcome to post comments, and I will check and make sure to see if there's anything in there, any questions. So here lately, the way this started was a really good friend of mine, Dr. Philip Cordova. He runs some really successful practices here in Houston, Texas, down in the Galleria area. And then he also is part owner of another practice in Katy, Texas. And I mean, they do, it's $1 million a year or more clinic. It's a successful office. And we do masterminds. We meet and we'll go to Starbucks on a Saturday morning and just brainstorm and talk. And I was telling him some struggles we were having, or we weren't hitting this goal or whatever. And he's like, Tabor, it's because you don't train enough. And I was like, you're spot on. So what we did was we set aside a time on Tuesdays, 11 to 12, and our team has to be there. It's mandatory, and we train on procedures. So it's been working. We've been doing that over the last several weeks. And, even though I feel like it might not be, we're not like automatically boom growth just because we did one training. Like I can see team members that are more engaged now, that have more understanding now, are being, involved more now with with what we're doing in the office. And so I just wanted to kind of go over my recommendations for training, share with you what we do in our office, and then I think it might be a good idea for you to put some of this into your office as well. First of all, we started doing huddles better, a little bit better. We're getting better as we go. But I know when I worked for Dr. Shane Hand, 1,500 a week practice, like we literally huddled. It was like put your arms around each other, huddled. He, went over the day, went over this, prayed, and then we went and we did it. And so huddles are important before and after every shift. We're starting, like I said, man, I'm doing this in my office as well. We're starting to do these more consistently now, but huddles allow you to kind of go over the day and get pumped up and get everybody on the same page. Now, we set up our trainings on Tuesdays at 11 to 12. And what we'll do is we watch videos sometimes about each part of the new patient process, or the entire patient life cycle, actually. And we'll take them day by day. So the first one was about the phone call. And although, we have kind of an outline of what the phone call should be, I realized when we had this training that we really need to sit down. We need to tweak the phone call. We need to have a sheet that's right in front of the phone for, even though my staff has answered the phone over and over and over, they need to have a sheet there, and that way they're remembering to do every little piece of the phone call. That's important. Let's see, day one was training on greeting the person when they come in through the door. Was training on what we say whenever they get there. The tour. This is something that when we started doing real trainings on the tour, I realized, you know what? I need to rewrite the tour script. I need to make sure that there's certain things that are in there. I need to make sure that we're saying certain things when we pass the kids' room, that we're saying certain things when we pass the wobble seat area. And what I realized by training with other docs on what they do on their tour, that I realized we're not consistently having a patient of the month, Chiro kid of the month, a promotion of the month, all these things that when I look at it, I go, oh man, it's just another thing on my schedule to try to do, to try to manage. And then guess what? We had some girls, our rehab techs, step up and say, well, we'll be in charge of that. And we can pick the patient of the week. We can pick the chiro kid of the week. We're around them all the time, and we're there while they're doing their rehab and stuff. And so how awesome is that, that part of the team that really, you know, wasn't participating as much now stepped up and say, we'll be in charge of that and we'll do that. And all that happens just because we set aside a dedicated hour of the week for training. And trust me, guys, I didn't want to do it. I still don't want to do it. On Tuesday, when Tuesday comes at 11 a.m., I don't want to be there. It's just, I feel like it's just a drain for me. But guess what? I have to be there, and I will be there, and I'm dedicated it, and my goal is to grow the practice and get to that next level. So I will make sure that I'm there, I'm present, and I'm training with the team to make sure we're moving forward. So the new patient phone call is important. The day one greet, the tour, and then it's up to the doctors to train on the exam. And so in my office, we do the history and first they watch a 6-minute video. So I noticed, and by the way, if anybody wants the video, just reach out to me and I can, I'll give you a link to my video, my new patient video. What it was my intro. So when there was a patient in the room, I walked in, I said, you know, the spine should be straight from the front, it should have natural curves from the side. If we see any tilt, shifts, translation, curvatures, we know that that is subluxation. That could put pressure on the nerve. That can affect how the communication from your brain to the body. That would then in turn cause dis-ease and some of the symptoms that you're having. Now there can be, you know, there could be pressure on a nerve for a long period of time without you feeling it. And so we need to make sure that we're checking every area, you know, all these things. Basically, that was my spiel before I went into the history and the consultation. And I noticed that was taking me 5 minutes every time I did that. So that was adding 5 minutes to my new patient exam. So I made a video. And now when my staff takes that new patient on a tour, they go through the tour, they end in the exam room, and then they start the video and they say, doctor, the Tabor will be in 5 minutes. And they they actually go back to the front desk and hit a clock that, that keys them in and starts the 5-minute countdown. And then when it beeps, I know that that patient is ready. So then I go in there. And my exams are just the history and consultation, range of motion and palpation, and x-ray on almost everybody, on most people. So now, of course, you know, I play the doctor. So if there's a reason why I should do a certain test or not do another test, or if I need to add, tweak, or change, I don't have to stick to a cookie cutter script. I can be the doctor in front of that patient and give that patient what they need. But I still have an outline that I go by and some scripts that I want to make sure I'm not leaving anything out with. Okay, if that makes sense. So doctors can train on that exam process. Now, the person is then taken up to the front. We're trained on what to say. We have a handout that shares with them that they're going to be scheduled for a doctor's report, that it's a group setting, that they're required to bring their spouse, that it's going to take up to an hour. Please set aside the time, that we're going to go over financials at that point. And all that is on the sheet. And we say that to them. So then we schedule them for their day 2. So the day 2 is something that we want to train for as well. But it's something that I've just gotten better at the longer I've done it. So I have a doctor's report. In fact, my doctor's report is in the members area of the Spinal Hygiene Doctor Members program. And then so I've done the report so many times that I've gotten really good at it. I mean, I feel so confident that it's probably one of the best doctor's reports in the profession of chiropractic. Like, that's literally how confident I am with my doctor's report. Now, sometimes I think I need to improve either my communication strategies, my salesmanship strategies, and my urgency factors, because I don't like scare care and stuff, but it's still, I do know that it's urgent that they start care. I sometimes don't portray that as well, so my conversions aren't as high as I want to be. I'm constantly learning and working on those things. But my doctor's report is spot on. I'm so solid with that. Now I've done it 3 times a week for at least 6 years, maybe 8 years. And so you're looking at, if I did it 3 times a week, that's 156 times a year. Okay. And if you're looking over, let's just say 5 years, that's like 800 times I've done my doctor's report, something like that, whatever the math is. But if let's say I've done my doctor's report 800 times, do you think I'm going to get better at it? Yeah, absolutely. I don't even need to train on that anymore. But when I was first starting out, I trained, I practiced, I did it over and over and over and over. And then the more you do it, the better you'll get at that doctor's report. And then I'm still training on actually presenting the x-rays, the report of findings, and then the conversions and the financials. We train on those all the time. And that's something that you want to put into your weekly training, your hour a week that you're going to be doing with your team. All right, so financials, that's on day 2. The patient either starts care or they don't start care. All right. Then another area where we want to do some training on is our day 3. The day 3 process is for the patients who actually started care on day 2. So on day 3 means that's their first real full visit to my office. So they came for the doctor's report. They said, yes, we want to start care. They got adjusted that night and they got scheduled for their first full visit where they're going to do the adjustment and the rehab. And then on day 3, they're coming back to the back. They're getting adjusted. They're going to the rehab room. They're doing their rehab. They're stopping at the front desk. And at the front desk is where we go over the home spinal care kit, the spinal hygiene kit. Now, you all should have the bonus training on how to present the spinal hygiene kit. Have your staff watch that. Have them walk you through each exercises from the range of motion to the spinal molding rolls to the resistance band to the wobble disc. So all those things are important that you walk the patient through. And then you're going to present the day 3 sheet. And if you look back a few weeks, we covered this. We trained on the day 3 sheet as well. The day 3 sheet is where you're going to actually get them to write down names of the people that they want to invite with them to the next dinner. So you're like, we have another dinner with the doc next Monday at 7 o'clock. I've got you down for that one. Is there any reason why you can't make it? No, great. And then here's some blanks here. I'd like you just to put some names there of people, of people that you want to bring with you, some guests. We'd love to have them. And then their phone numbers there. And we'll call them and invite them on your behalf as well. Even if they don't want to do that, they don't want to put down phone numbers, have them put down the names so that we know how many seats to reserve or potentially how many seats to reserve. And then have them contact them and ask them if we can give them a call to verify it and remind them about the dinner as well. Okay. And then also on the day 3 sheet, right below that is an area where they can that you can schedule a lunch and learn in their office. So when you're checking them out, you've got them scheduled for the dinner. They wrote down some names and you say, where do you work? Oh, you work at Hewlett Packard. Well, we would love to come in and do an ergonomic and spinal hygiene workshop for you at your place of business. We'll even bring lunch. Dr. Tabor will cater lunch and do the workshop there for your employees or for your coworkers. Do you think we can set that up with you? Great. Or do you know the person and the phone number that we can call to actually set that up? Great. And so you're going to try to set up a lead to do a lunch and learn at their place of business on that day 3. And you should train with your staff, with your team on that process as well. And then that's it. So then they started care. They're coming in, 3 times a week, whatever their care plan is. And remember one of the last trainings we did was shotgun education. So you need to have your automated system set up, your emails, your waiting rooms DVDs playing, your table talk is ready, the home spinal care kit has been given to them, the handouts and flyers that you have in your office. So all of these, education patterns are set up, they're ready to go, and you'd be doing awesome. So then the only other thing as you go, as a doctor, you can train on the adjustment, you can train on the table talk and all those things. The only other thing that we would train on top of that is the re-exam. Okay, so you're going to train on actually taking the re-x-rays, doing the re-exam, and then scheduling them for their re-exam report or the report of findings. And at that report of findings is where you'll actually show them the difference between when they first came in now how they're doing, and you would recommend wellness care at that point. And a lot of the times what we'll say is, you've made huge progress, you're doing awesome, I'm very happy with what you're doing. My recommendations would be that we drop to 1 time a week. I highly recommend this, because what do you think is going to happen if you just stop completely? And they're going to say, well, lose it. Yeah. So we try to make it very, very affordable and just make it a no-brainer for you to continue with wellness care. Here's the wellness care plan. They can help you up at the front get started. Okay. Great. And then, so you can train on that with your doctors as well. We have the doctors do it, and then the CAs, take their money and do the financials up at the front. So today is just a quick training, little 15-minute training on how to do trainings and what to train on. But really the tip of the day is start setting up at least an hour a week with your team and really training. If you're not already doing it, it's going to make a big difference. Train on every step of that life cycle of that patient, and your office will start to grow and build because of that. All right. So I've actually got a big shipment of spinal molding rolls that are coming in today. And so I've got to go get ready for that. But I appreciate you guys being on here live. You can always reach out to me, Facebook, email, drtabor@live.com, phone number 281-770-8859. Reach out to me, text me, whatever you want to do, and I will be here to answer any questions for you. So have a great one, and keep up the great work. Talk to you later.